All right, everybody, this is Town of Fairfield Conservation Commission for May 15, 2024. Lucas Thomas, I'm here. Rick Boucher is here. Jay Fain is here. Ed Singer is here. Peter Hood is here, and Diane Saunders is here. I'll appoint Diane Saunders as a full member tonight. Okay, and we have a quorum. Okay, so number 3, approval of the draft meeting minutes, Conservation Commission meeting of March 2024. Does anybody have any corrections and comments? I have some. Just to be clear, it passed, but I think Jerry Alessi and I voted in the negative for the like.
Let me see.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Lighting?
Yeah, it's
For which thing? Oh, the lighting.
yeah. So it says there, Kato Mahoney seconded the motion, which carried unanimously. Didn't
Oh,
carry unanimously.
okay.
It was
Sorry.
Passed. It passed by majority vote. But
Okay.
Jerry and I were in the negative. Okay. Other than that, anybody else have any corrections or anything? you should know? Okay, motion to approve it? Anybody? Oh, Ted, okay. Second,
Second.
Diane, second to approve the meeting minutes. All right. Oh, sure, yeah. I'm assuming we're all. New business. Number 1, 447 Stratfield Road, discussion regarding conservation easement and conditions 2 and 3 under WP-23-159. Okay. Tim, you gonna be talking about that?
I could. So this is on the agenda as it relates to that wetlands permit 23-159. Because based on the design, the existing the easement of a certain width is now occupied by stone for the revetment. So based on the permit conditions, we thought the department thought it was appropriate that the commission discuss the need, if any, or any let's call them ecological enhancements as it relates to that easement, if that's acceptable. Otherwise, the easement is just a pile of boulders. If we wanted, if the commission wanted to discuss the buffer or, something adjacent to the easement that's more of a active riparian buffer than.
But we did have a condition about planting.
Yeah.
I thought that was okay. They haven't submitted it in the package. There was 3 things that they were supposed to submit, some more erosion control things.
Right.
The plantings. Right, and then what's the other last thing? Yeah, I thought that was fine. I think we already established that the work had to be done in terms of, we have what I did.
Have you submitted those revised plans?
Think their fee yet?
That I don't know. I'd have to check. But as permit condition 2 states, you obtain the approval from the commission for work.
Can we do this as approve the work in the conservation easement and make the condition that they provide the other 3 items to staff satisfaction? That'd be acceptable. So I'll make that motion.
Sure. Second. Okay. For the discussion.
Will they be coming back before?
If they want to.
I don't have to. It's done.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all around. Okay. Now moving on to Roman numeral 5, old business. Number 1, adopt the street program in progress. Saw a picture today. Thank you very much. It was very kind of you, Commissioner Boucher.
I'm good at picking up the trash.
A picture?
Sure, thank you.
Able to catch anyone doing it.
Update, since its launch, we have 10 active sponsors and signs out on town roads. One, as we saw, thanks to Peter's email, was Boucher family. As well as one location for Inland Wetland Agency and one location for the Conservation Commission. Peter's welcome to chip in, but luckily both the commission and the agency have able staff to do that on a regular basis for the permit requirements. So so far it's well received. We have Fairfield University as one. We have Moe's Wine and Liquors as one. So it's a little
Right
mixed.
down- That's right downtown, which is nice.
Yeah, right on beach. Your first request was on Post Road, which I said is not a town road.
Every person makes a left turn,
So yeah,
right in your face.
good. DPW has been great to work with as far as getting these out. The sign company turns the request around pretty quick. I got the first batch of 10 within 36 hours from the sign maker, so
Oh, wow.
delivered to the to town hall. So I think it's been overall a successful launch, and I think it'll just self-precipitate as word continues to get out. Again, like I said, Fairfield U, I'm working, just got one for Mill River Wetland Committee. So it's a mix of private, public, some businesses, institutions, Sacred Heart's interested. So
Tim, how long do they stay up?
I believe the permit is good for 5 years. And then they could do a renewal, or if it just, the wheels fall off, then we could just take their plaque down and. Yeah,
And how far of a stretch of road is it?
500 feet on both sides. Roughly, I mean.
Yeah.
If you're doing that, then that's great.
Yeah, awesome.
All right, thank you. Anything further, commissioners?
Sounds good.
Moving on, number 2, Hoyden's Hill Meadow Restoration, authorization for funding.
Update on that is progress is being made. As you know, this commission approved to use the H. Smith Richardson Fund Trust for the 19,000 required to get this project over the finish line. Since that approval here, I have approval from Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance. The last time I made this request before the boards, I was told to go to RTM, but this round, we realized during the meeting, according to town council, that that is not necessary. So one less meeting for me to attend next go around. But it's authorized. I've made the written request to BNY Mellon, who's the trust fund co-trustee, and that's in progress. So we should be scheduling work with All Habitat very soon. We want to get that area prepped and seed in the ground before June. So that should be happening quickly.
Questions, comments, commissioners? Nope. Okay, good. Moving on to number 3,
Can't wait.
digital trail mapping project in progress. Draft map completed of Grace Richardson. Sounds cool.
This is, as you recall, in progress of Grace Richardson, Open Space, Mohegan, Lake Mohegan, and Brett Woods. This is the digital mapping of those trails that'll be geolocated and placed into the Avenza app and then CT Trail Finder. And so far, I've seen a draft of Grace. We made a few edits, Tom and I observed, very minor. That draft is going to Avenza to make sure that all the shape files are accurate for their use. And as of last week, they were, the consultant was mapping Lake Mohegan. So we're making good progress, and I think, you know, in the next month or so, we should be uploaded into Avenza and start rolling out those maps with QR codes at these 3 locations, trailheads.
Commissioners, any comments, questions?
No, great.
I just
Great
think it's
project.
Yeah, super, right?
Yeah. It's awesome. Cool. All right, moving on to number 4, POCD subcommittee status. I know that Commissioner Senior had a question last time, I think, about.
Well, actually, I'm the part of the committee.
You are.
Kate's not here,
Okay,
but Kate and I met with Emmeline on the 7th with planning and zoning.
Yep.
We went over the draft of the POCD, the sections where there's going to be more amendments made.
okay,
There's also going to be an amendment made to the planning and zoning rules and regs. So there's a whole separate set of opportunities for us to encourage more sustainability, shall we say, in some of the various regulations. I'm meeting with forestry tomorrow. We're doing an update on the forestry piece that's been put in place. And Fairfield U is interested in providing input. And I've also reached out to Aspetuck Land Trust and anyone else who's interested in providing input. I'm going to feed that input into Emmeline. It's a very collaborative process, very above board, and I'm encouraged. I think it's going to be great.
excellent. Thank you for the update.
like you were the right person.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Excellent. Commissioners, any other questions, comments of Commissioner Luxinger?
So are you going to be asking the commission here for?
That's on my list.
Oh, good.
Ask everybody for
Right, right.
input. Yeah, I'm just collecting it and feeding it
Gotcha.
to Emmeline, so.
It's like in the early stage.
Yeah, well,
Or.
it started pre-COVID, so I'm
Okay.
sure they would like to get it done.
Okay,
But the advantage is that doing it now, there's been a lot of new science and a lot of new learnings that impact the sustainability methodologies that we might adopt as a town. So we've got a chance, from my perspective, this is my agenda, and personally, I think we can set a stake for Fairfield ahead of everybody else based on the learnings over the course of the last several years with respect to the impact of lighting on trees, the value of a tree from an ecosystem services perspective. These are things that we can put in as suggestions for potential legislative agenda with the RTMs. So it's really suggestions and a roadmap
okay.
and where we want to go. I think it's an opportunity for us to have a real impact.
The value of a tree is something I would get behind. very
There's
quickly.
actually a lot of movement in that area around the country. There's a number of municipalities that are in the process of assigning value and putting together permits that you have to, if a developer wants to cut down trees of a certain size, they have to sign a permit, and if they cut it down, they have a penalty associated with that.
Dabney, that might work well for us. when
Yeah,
we
right?
Get off the ground with our.
Totally.
Yeah, so that's, it's in, right now, it's primarily Illinois, Evanston, outside of Chicago. There are a number of, I'm researching that. I'm looking at what the
Nice.
different models are for evaluating.
But we could
All
be-
the towns
Yeah.
in Westchester have tree ordinances.
Yeah, New York is way ahead as far as tree ordinances are concerned. So I'm just trying to gather models or examples for us to take a look at.
And our idea is that we would be writing a memorandum to the RTM. I keep saying this, it's going to be totally comprehensive, that they not gonna do any work, but talking about this kind of movement
Right.
would do very well for us.
Well, how receptive is the zoning department to this, all of this?
I'd say the zoning department is open right now to new suggestions and a conservation oriented agenda, because they've gotten feedback that the current POCD is more about D as opposed to C. So they're looking for more input along these lines, and being retired, I've got the time to do it. And
Very good.
Nice.
Nice. Excellent, thank you.
Yeah.
Pleasure. All right. Excuse me. Moving on to Roman numeral 6. Open space land acquisitions, number 1, continued. 816 and 798 Sturgis Road acquisition status.
This is one of the, I guess I would say, one of the most exciting projects on my plate besides, I guess they're all exciting, but this one, this one's more kind of a give back scenario. These two properties with the, I'll call it future Fairfield Nature's Classroom. I attached the signed agreement, the offer accepted by the seller for $950,000 to buy these two properties. I had a meeting with First Selectman and some of his cabinet this afternoon to discuss strategy related to the contract. Some logistics as far as inspections and due diligence for non-negotiating items, more along the lines of planning and budgeting for things like removing the oil tank, converting the boiler to natural gas, scheduling the inspection. Is it gonna need a new roof? How do we make it ADA, fire sprinklers, stuff like that? So we're going to be gathering all that information, coming before all the boards for budget request and funding sources. Current approach, we're coming up with probably a little over $1 million would be for obviously not only purchase, but to do those other items. And I think right now the discussion is using some of the in lieu of fee funds that planning and zoning collect for subdivisions, dipping into the H. Smith Richardson Conservation Fund Trust, and some ARPA money. So it'll be coming from different areas, but the administration I know is excited as I am. We're just getting that much closer to making it happen. Our schedule timeframe is probably to close in July, with board approvals getting on the agenda for the June agendas for selectmen, finance, and RTM. So
What's he continuing to do out there?
he is, Mr. Velez is generously, yeah, he's keeping himself busy, but I think his intent is to prep the parking area for our gravel.
I assume that we're gonna look at something more, environmentally friendly than what he's telling.
Yeah,
I think we're gonna make this a showpiece, right?
yeah, it'll be done nicely.
I mean, but I think we wanna use a lot of LID techniques and incorporate it into kind of make this a showpiece in terms of how people can improve their property. I mean,
Yeah, and that's-
hoping we're gonna get input on it, be able to provide that type of input, but that's,
Yeah.
what I would hope. If we're gonna be doing this as on behalf of the Conservation Commission, the town, and it's gonna be, a conservation area.
That's absolutely the plan with, it's gonna be in control of the department and the, basically the commission.
How do we know that?
Yeah, I like that.
Is that,
That's what I explained to the selectman's office today during the discussion, that was the intent, that the department would be handling the management of, it would be just like our workshop here is one of our department facilities.
Is that approved? You see that going that way, Tim?
I think so,
Yeah, okay.
because who else is gonna deal with the scheduling of,
Right.
I've already been contacted by Boy Scout troops saying, hey, we wanna use it for our Tuesday night meetings.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that'll have to be my staff to schedule that. Similar to Parks and Rec with Penfield Pavilion, we got a wedding this Saturday, Anthony's staff manages that. I foresee it happening
Okay.
the same way.
As far as the build out, what it would look like when it's finished, is that your call or are other groups involved in that?
Probably Public Works has oversees building maintenance. So I think we'll probably be the lead since it would be under our purview or jurisdiction.
So Jay, are you looking for an educational opportunity? When you say incorporate LID, are you?
Yeah,
Are you
absolutely.
looking for, there would be some way of pointing that out,
Yeah,
like
we have
trail
some-
markers? I mean,
No,
I'm
there's
just,
signage here, and this is an LID
that's what I
parking
meant,
lot,
that's
or
what I meant.
this is a rain garden, you know, I think.
That signage is.
I think that's a
crucial.
great
And we would
idea.
obviously use all native plants for the
Yeah.
landscape and pollinators, and we'll have signs and identify all
Okay,
that kind of
that's.
stuff.
Yeah,
I thought that was our intention when we started this whole thing. It was
I
gonna
think
be
it is.
a
It just-
conservation building to teach others. So
But
it's,
but even besides the teaching, we'll implement the practices.
right, but as a showcase.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
so how you could, maybe we can do one side of the driveway, if there's, I don't know what it looks like, but the parking lot, maybe we can do the permeable pavement on one
So
side.
that's
for
where,
people to
you know,
show,
I
and
think
then-
we wanna do the whole thing if we can.
Maybe not, right? Maybe we can show one where, okay, if you do have to
On
have
the bad side of the parking lot. and not- and
have
not
pavement,
this
but
side.
there's a rain garden there to show,
Yeah, no,
okay.
we,
you
Right.
know,
a lot of opportunities to show a lot of different
Is
things.
that the,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's gonna be a facility to teach and you know, connect the classroom with the
About lights.
nature, the wild, but also
Well, impact development.
have examples of that in action. Okay,
exactly.
a swale, well, what does that mean? We'll go out over there and
Right.
look at it.
so people are in front of us like, I don't know what they're, okay, well then go there.
Yeah, we'll have all the facility, people will go, the kids will go and learn about it, it's part of the Mill River thing.
Well, you may have
Yeah, the
forgotten,
Mill
but
River
the,
Wetland Committee is gonna be using it for their river
John
lab.
Dilly was in the meeting today. He was invited by the first selectman to join us.
Well, I think, Tim, you can call on all of us seriously for assistance getting this thing together, not just for Wednesday night meetings.
Yeah,
We
absolutely.
all agree with that?
Oh, yeah,
Totally.
we're, you know,
100%.
we're on board.
Hey, Tim, have you
Good.
considered maybe going to an electric heat pump system instead of converting to gas? There's big rebates now on those systems and.
Yeah, I'd be open to anything like that.
Sustainable Fairfield Task Force has all the connection points if you wanna.
Which is,
that.
yeah, I mean, obviously we gotta get the oil out and then keep the building, so
you've been studying that a
there's
lot.
gonna be some
Yeah, I have,
type of coordination.
And there's also geothermal,
yes.
which is
And what
much more expensive,
It'd be
but
much more expensive,
Much more
probably cost prohibitive.
the town budget's willing to.
Probably be very easy to.
Yeah,
do
but
that.
with the rebates, the heat pump systems aren't that expensive.
Yeah, you know, it might be a chance, you know, to do a heat pump and then maybe even have a small solar, you know, it's a lot of things to do there.
Yeah.
couple panels on
And
it.
I'm sure there's state rebates though, and funds and grants that can be used for some of the rehab on that.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so far it's a first step. You know, like I said, everyone's excited, gonna start beating the drum a little bit and making the connections with Board of Ed and getting some more excitement going.
And I hate to keep pointing it out, but you're really getting conservation in the news pretty consistently.
Trying, I mean, you know, just.
hate that,
I
continue to
really,
point it out.
no, I said, I keep repeating myself, but I think that is awesome because conservation is just getting, you know, it's in the
I
news.
mean, you know, look at Commissioner Fain and the governor's, fiasco.
Yeah.
So. Full page. Right. Number 2, 236 Woodside Circle, no longer in pursuit of acquisition.
Yeah, as we discussed with the Inland Wetland Agency, we're gonna pursue the violation and discontinue pursuit right now of the acquisition.
Not much there. Roman numeral 7, bills and communication.
Okay, those two other,
In other.
okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, department budget status update.
Update, most significantly, we didn't have any changes to the budget I proposed, which had most notably the significant increase in staff salary. The new position that I put forth was approved by all the boards. as a, for a natural resource specialist, which is much needed in the department to handle not only creation of some redundancy for wetland permitting when Sarah's away, but also that positions is designed to take some of that as well as some of the other department duties related to open space and shellfish and everything else. So, right now I do all the inland wetlands enforcement. And Sarah really is awesome at permitting, but it's, then there's no one to do anything else the department has to do, which comes to me. So this position will be kind of a utility player, a jack of all trades type of position. So that has gone out to the union internally as required by their union contract. I don't foresee anyone internally having the qualifications. So that will go out to the public for applicants within, I think, less than 2 weeks now. And that'll get circulated to Kakiwik and Cause and Society of Wetland Scientists and stuff, and really get out there to look for some quality candidates.
For an experienced hire.
It's entry level, bachelor's, some certifications and ability to get certifications, and I think it says 1 to 2 years of applicable experience
I was just thinking,
in wetland science or soil science.
I was thinking of Fairfield U graduates from the, environmental studies program, maybe interns or other things that we might be able to take advantage of. Continue that
I can
relationship.
put it on the homepage, circulate in some other avenues, but
Okay.
I think, we're gonna look for obviously the best candidate, so.
So it's a tight job. I mean, there aren't that many people out there right now.
Yeah, that's why as soon as I got approval, I sent it to HR the next morning after the RTM vote. And so we got, start moving this, because I can't hire until July 1st, but it's gonna come quickly, so.
What do you attribute
Fast.
getting the money approved to? Because historically, conservation has
really.
been treated very stingily.
Yeah, well,
Oh, is that a chance for me to repeat myself again? I mean, I'm not kidding in that, but I think it is. I'm just, that's notable because conservation over years, many years, is like been begging for all sorts of things.
I think it shows in what has happened in the last 2 to 3 years, especially since Tim's been here.
That's my opinion.
But-
So here I go again. It's
No,
like
no.
a broken record.
We're trending in the right.
Absolutely right. And the things that I think the things we showed to the town hall offices and what's also just our actions in general, I think are positive. And I think they're being rewarded, I guess.
Well, it's our personality too.
I don't like you. I just don't like you.
Very upbeat.
Well, I think also,
It is important to me to say that though, because I mean, you couldn't get, Tom would know, they couldn't get money to do anything in the open space anywhere. And it's frustrated me for the last decade minimum. So,
Well-
I
But I
don't,
also
I
think
don't
we have
mind,
a
I don't
director
mind being
now.
repetitive. That's all.
but we have a director now that has, I mean, I feel like you've done more in the past. You've been here 3 years,
3 years in August.
3 years
Wow.
than
Maybe the last.
was done in the past decade, yeah.
The decade would be,
And that's
Right.
it. And I think that people see that.
There's a new coach on the team.
Yeah, no, it's,
Yeah, and maybe the rules are more fair as well.
Yeah.
And I think there may have been an unwritten rule or some different understanding of how the office was run back in a different time frame. Whereas now it's maybe they're harder, harsher, maybe, but they're more open and fair. So you
it's
know
like the
that.
RTM didn't think
Revolving.
conservation existed almost.
Well, I think it's much more prominent in everyone's consciousness right now,
Sure.
is protecting the environment than it has been, so.
But I push there is a real need. And it is to replace the void that existed. I supported in my memo the need, and I went back to the 80s showing staffing was up to 11 in the department in the 80s and 90s. So I had those counts in the memo. We're down,
Who knew?
we're at 7.5, going up to 8.5 now, so it is a big difference and while some things have been streamlined that I've done, like streamlining shellfish permits to reduce staff time to produce them. And a bunch of other things, but like online permitting, but the online permitting doesn't really, to me, it's either a wash or actually a loss. So there is a need for that person, and I guess they agreed with me, so. We will have that capacity, and I was pushing the need for that redundancy, because if Sarah's away, town hall permits stop.
Yeah.
If all the departments don't check the box for your new house, if she's gone on vacation, you're waiting.
Yeah.
So it's, we don't have that. So I'm thankful that they saw that and approved it, and so we're in good shape, budget wise.
Very good. Good job, Tim.
By the way, I always knew you didn't like me. You didn't have to make that public.
Well, it's
It's all recorded- it's all
honestly
recorded
amongst
now.
all the commissioners. here.
Right,
That's
clearly.
Make sure they knew.
Clearly.
I know we're on the record. All of this is joking. I think everybody here is fantastic on this commission, and I think we do actually really good work. And Tim is our guru here. You're showing us how to.
Well, I'm warning you, it's not gonna stop. So
It's a good
Call him
team.
as I see him.
All right, now, and here's the good stuff. Next one is legal enforcement action. So, and that's something we have to do. So what's going on with that one, Tim? Number 145 Stevenson Road encroachments.
This started with a phone call from not immediately adjacent, but a nearby neighbor regarding some playground and some fencing. I went back on some aerials. The fence has been there for decades. The parcel that we own adjacent, that they're encroaching on, was state land that was given to the town in the 90s. It's been maintained as lawn. There is a water course there. There's a nice playground. When I spoke with the homeowner, and Tom had verified that the playground and fence were there. I got the survey from upstairs at planning and zoning, and it was consistent with our GIS. I gave that to the homeowner, and he was shocked that his property is much smaller than he thought. It's unfortunate, and no one wants to get that phone call that your playground is on someone else's property, and then you're gonna have to discontinue mowing. But anyway, I met with him on Monday morning. Nice guy, young family. He's gonna move the playground. We're gonna take care of the fence. And he knows we discussed the line to discontinue mowing, so.
Right.
Problem solved. Everyone's, I don't wanna say everyone's happy, but we came to a resolution, so.
Okay, good job. That was pretty quick, actually.
Yeah, it was.
Good. All right, so moving on to Roman numeral 9, staff report, number 1. Report from the Conservation Department. Number 1, save this, Save the Sound Unified Water Study.
We do this every year. We get a chunk of money from Save the Sounds, funded through the feds grant. It's about close to $10,000 to the department to do the work. It's most of the coastal towns in Long Island, Westchester, the boroughs, and coastal Connecticut participate. We collect water data. I've talked about this before. Already completed the first round. Tom and the guys are out in the boat collecting off Southport Harbor water samples, and water quality data gets submitted. We collect every 2 weeks. So that has begun.
Excellent. Any questions, Commissioner? Moving on to point number 2, Alexis Papageorge, Fairfield Wood High School senior experience.
Was contacted by Alexis as a senior at the high school. She needs to complete 40 hours. Something she's interested in and applicable. I decided to accept. And she's going to start next week and she'll, coordinate her time, but get to kind of experience what the department does at various capacities with me and Sarah and, Tom and the crew. So just kind of, maybe she'll come to a meeting, kind of get a feel of
And
what we do if that works out, but
at the end of that, you'll put some sort of letter together.
yeah, I think I have to fill something out.
Yeah, okay.
So I think it'll be good to, give back a little bit, but kind of embed a high school senior into the real world of municipal government.
Very nice. Good job.
Yeah, so that should be fun. I haven't done it before, so I guess we'll see how it goes.
Okay. Well, hey, maybe if it's, you know what, treat it as an opportunity. If it does work out, maybe you can do something maybe every year. If there's
Right.
one intern for a week
Mhm.
program or something. And maybe people would be interested in that. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, good, yeah. Point number 3, seasonal staff joining the crew this month.
We have 3 seasonals that were on the crew last summer, coming back. They enjoyed it so much. And they're gonna be starting towards the end of the month in phases, but they were good hard workers. Tom worked with them every day. So that's an extra 3 extra sets of hands to get projects done and like moving fences off open space. And I think it's a big help.
Well, we also have a couple of really big projects coming up where we're gonna need the extra hands will come in handy.
Yeah, do you want to tell us a little bit, some of it, Tom, or what's going on? There wasn't anything.
Fencing, double split rail fence that we're gonna be putting up at Lake Mohegan parking lot. A lot of post hole digging. We have a big project coming up at Grace Richardson on the access road going up. We're gonna build a swale on the side where the road meets the hill. Gonna build a swale, and I think I didn't discuss this with you, but maybe putting a pipe in at the bottom of the swale to go across the road instead of doing a water bar, because when we get to 4 inches of rain, it just
Pulls it up.
huge, and the erosion is unbelievable.
Excellent, nice. Point number 4, Eagle Scout projects.
Recently finished a few, I think we're 5 or 6 for the year. So far, yeah, the Eagle Scouts keep us busy, but it's a good relationship. We have one more in the hopper right now, and that is the water, is a crossing, a stream crossing on the Yellow Trail at Brett. I'm sure some of you know, there's just a plank on a rock, and it's dangerous and not suitable for crossing the stream. You know where that is, Peter, past the vernal pools?
I know where that is.
Yeah, it's awful. So Tom and JP worked with engineering to come up with a design, and we have a actual to scale drawing with footings. One will be in water, and they'll set forms and pour some concrete with the scouts, and we'll have a nice crossing that won't wobble on the stone. So that's coming up in June, I think, right? June. So that'll be, I think number 6 for the year, so.
Pretty good.
And we've yet to get our badges. Well,
I
you
have
got
mine.
yours.
I got mine in '98, so. Tom's done more Eagle projects than me, so.
But if you do document it though, if somebody can snap some pictures along the way, it's always news for the site.
Yeah.
It's great.
Very cool.
Okay.
All right. Any questions, commissioners?
Could we double back to the save the sound item? Are you collecting water samples for their annual,
Report card?
it's this like state of the sound, or where they rate the beaches? Oh, okay.
Well, the beaches one's different, but the harbors and offshore waters are I think what you're thinking of.
Okay, I was
There are two,
actually,
there's a beaches rating report card, not,
yes.
there's also like a
The beach is one,
embayment,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
each one is done from the health department with what they submit to save the sound.
Okay.
What we collect
They look
is
similar.
the DO levels, the turbidity.
Algae.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions, comments, commissioners?
Have something for public. When you get to.
We're getting there now. Roman numeral 10, other. Tim, I know you have a few things. Do you want to go first?
No.
Yep, good, okay. Why don't you go with it, Tim?
Okay.
So,
Under other that just happened in the
And we'll-
last 2 days.
it'll tie in with Roman numeral 6, open space land acquisitions.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that explains why they didn't make the agenda printing, since I got the titles today, yesterday and today. As far as acquisitions, we got 3 parcels. 470 and 700 Westway. One is tidal marsh, adjacent to our existing open space. The other one's inland wetlands. Those 2 parcels total 2.09 acres that are now ours. And then 1207 Congress Street, which is 5 lots north of the last one we got on Congress, which is 3.00 acres with, I haven't walked it yet, but believed to be a vernal pool on that property. Which, total of just a little over 5 acres this week that are now ours.
It's just coming in because the tax foreclosures or donations or?
One Westway parcels were a donation due to delinquent taxes. 1207 Congress was a foreclosure due to delinquent taxes. But no response from the owner to fight it. So he owns the adjacent parcel where he lives, but this parcel is on.
People aren't interested in taking any tax deductions or anything like that?
He didn't, I sent him 3 letters. A town attorney at the time had knocked on his door 2 or 3 times. He did not respond to any of my letters, so we just foreclosed on it. He didn't show up in court.
That's fine. I just-
No.
Crazy.
Do you know who was the foreclosure?
Somebody building. on it.
Foreclosing party, so is the town of Fairfield, the tax collector, the town of Fairfield, or
The town.
the town?
Yeah.
Tim, do you have a running total as to the acreage that we manage now?
Yeah.
All right, because I need that for the P O C D, because I don't remember.
I updated it this morning.
You stop being one step ahead of me. I really-
Well, if I didn't update the spreadsheet with learning about those 2, I would have forgotten, then been 5 acres short. But that brings, and I usually include it on here, but I forgot to, that we're getting a new parcel every 3.20 months.
So some of these people marked,
So
that people will go from the street.
the Congress one, probably not. The only access we have would be from the Merritt Parkway, jumping over the
It's this
guardrail.
long sign, but it was like, wow, I didn't realize,
That one, right, so it's just five lots north of that, so if you're coming southbound on the Parkway before that exit. As soon as you go under Eversource's wires, it's very rocky, it's like bedrock
right.
outcrops. You could see what I think is a vernal pool right in the level area, that's that parcel.
Okay, yeah, no, you're right.
So probably won't put a sign there. For the Westway parcels, we have
Sign is up.
we have a sign and we have a new sign, just did some improvement. Tom and the crew created a now accessible area and with, I've been in contact with this, Troop 199. We're gonna do, some service time. We're gonna blaze a new trail there, which doesn't have a trail for Southport people. So
That's working area.
and we have parking now. So a lot of people that were walking Westway and Oxford under 95 are excited about having some space to go. Southport doesn't really have too much green space with trails
Other than lawns.
other than lawns.
So I just want to clarify something. So we will take donated land, especially if they're water courses or vernal pools or something, other characteristic like that. Even if there's no public access to it.
I took that one, one because of the acreage, but two because of the resource. It's probably wouldn't be developable anyway, based on the rocky
Right.
steepness and it's
I
landlocked.
mean, my neighbor, I'll talk to you about it later, but my neighbor's interested in donating a huge swath of their land along Browns Brook. And it's all wetlands. And I said I said, you know, you'd have to ask, told them to talk to the tax assessor's office first.
Separate parcel.
But it wouldn't have any public access. It's
Yeah.
literally landlocked by yards, but
I consider them, like, I think this was a special consideration, assuming that I'm right, but having not been, you know,
right,
not being able to go to it legally. But I try and get them to have those resources, but be either accessible or large enough, like I've been offered a 1/4 acre that's
Yeah, oh, yeah.
landlocked, it's like, that doesn't do me any good, but if it's big enough,
yeah,
I think
probably 10 acres, yeah.
it's protection is still
You can keep
has
developing.
that value that we're protecting it just by owning it and taking
sure.
it out of the development potential or
Okay.
whatever. So yeah, something like that I would still consider.
Great.
And moving forward,
Well, how does somebody go about donating land to us?
so my ongoing worksheet that I've supplied to the commission in the past, and every meeting of the Land Acquisition Commission, I update the worksheet. You know, I find parcels that are of value, again, adjacent to existing open space or large enough to create a new one. And obviously have those resources to protect, the natural resources to protect, but when I do find them, I send a letter out saying, hey, you owe X amount of dollars in delinquent taxes for X amount of years, would you consider donating it? Some people don't even know that they own it, some people don't know that their parents that are dead owned it, and it's just an orphan. And some people just don't want it. So they just, similar with Westway, I said, you owe, I think it was almost 60,000 in back taxes. He's like, I don't want it, I can't do anything with it, just take it. So that starts the process fairly easily. If other people, like the person Dabney had mentioned, you know, if they pick up the phone and call me, then I start the process. If they don't know that, then I don't know how they know that I would be the contact.
So now
Maybe
we've got-
Land Acquisition Commission.
So let's move that along to the next step. So somebody has agreed to donate through your efforts. Who do you contact next?
Town attorney does all the paperwork.
The town attorney does the paperwork.
They
And
take title and then it's ours.
that's it, right?
Interesting.
Yeah, nice. But that's something that starts with you from here, right? From the Conservation Commission.
Yes, because it comes
The authority comes from
Under-
here, right?
Right.
Yeah.
under the commission's purview and jurisdiction.
What if someone called the town assessor's office and said, look, I've got this big swath of wetlands in my yard, I'm tired of paying taxes on it, I want to reduce my tax bill. Are they savvy enough to refer them to you?
They have a mechanism, and I just met with Ross, the tax assessor and town planning and zoning last Thursday, to have this discussion, because there is a list of people that qualify for discounts based on forest, wetlands, or farming. They could fit into one of those categories, and the assessor will adjust their taxes based on those resources.
Okay.
And that actually ties into the P O C D that we're taking the state, I can't remember what number regulation it is, but kind of building that concept into the P O C D to make that more public.
Space,
Yeah,
states going as a goal, right?
yeah. So they could essentially, if, you know, and one of those cases was the violation turned corrective action on Long Meadow. There was an easement that was cleared, and restored really very nicely. I don't know if anyone remembers that. I want to say it was 220 Long Meadow. Paul Sinclair.
Yeah, I remember that one, yeah.
You know, out of, I think, the 3 acres, like 2.6 was wetlands and easement. So he was able to, and a lot of people don't know that.
You got a break for conservation easement.
He gets the break because in the mind of the statute, the language is such to encourage not selling to a developer.
Right.
And that's the intent. So
But a lot of that land isn't developable anyway.
exactly. So it's kind of like,
I'll have it's Bronson Meadows. Bronson. Yeah, so they have 27 acres, and at least half of it's at least upland review.
I like those big parcels.
Yeah.
So one of them in the crosshairs, as a side note, is 3 parcels up off of Burr that are 2 of them are combined are big enough, almost 13 acres, that we could that in the next couple of months I'm gonna get as a donation, and those are, we're gonna be able to create a whole new open space with access.
Nice.
So
Your Audubon?
it's gonna be adjacent to Audubon, so
Oh,
Perfect,
discussing with Amy, connecting our trail to theirs,
perfect.
it's gonna be awesome, so,
that is awesome.
yeah. And they'll have, that would give Audubon another point of access into their open space, so
For sure.
really cool.
Very cool.
Good
Yeah,
news.
there's some cross pollinating for you.
Yeah, good news.
Alright.
Until I get it.
Surprise me. Tom.
With that, yeah, sounds good. Commissioners,
I just wanted to ask about, Rick, Rick, we need a place for the nomination form to land so that we can refer people to it. So I mentioned to Tim that the place I think we could do fairly quickly would be maybe a news flash, other than, I'm not expecting a whole page to be devoted to it, but we need somewhere for that to land so people can get referred to it.
I would suggest the department homepage, under
Well,
all
yeah.
my forms.
Don't look at me like that. It's like that's what, what else would
That's
you?
where
be
you guys
thinking
want
of?
Added in a highlight in the first Selectmen's Friday news.
Well, yeah, but we gotta get it, we have to have the form landed somewhere
It needs a home.
first,
It needs a home. for
which would
somebody.
be, I can't do it, Tim has to help with that. Then we would be asking the first selectman to get it in his thing, that to me would be, and then Kate has a whole list of ideas how she wants to push it out through the schools and stuff.
Tim, is
So
that
our first step is to get
Easy
it,
for me, yeah, I just put it on our forms, and then I'll ask Lisa Claire to put it in the newsletter with direction to our homepage, and it's,
because I think I sent you an email, but maybe it's sitting in my outbox, but I cobbled text that you could just cut and paste. I, took what we had written and just, that, and
I think it did send it.
the poster we had at Earth Day, to me, that's the visual. So to me, we did the work. We just need somebody to publish it and
Post it.
well, one of us is gonna need to send it along to the first one.
I was on that.
I'll just send it out.
Tomorrow.
Blame it
Do
on
that
that.
tomorrow, no problem.
So I've got an experience I want to share and see what everyone's thoughts are.
sure.
From the forestry side, we have a pocket park next to the Starbucks there. If anyone's gone, all native plants are there, and there's something blooming every month of the year from December through January. And the land is managed, I guess, by Parks and Rec and the DPW guys that do Parks and Rec. And they volcano mulched the trees. So I had somebody go to take a look at the native plants. I go, what about all this volcano mulch on the trees? And I'm wondering if everybody who does maintenance of our properties in town has been trained on sustainable landscaping and what the current thinking is with respect to the way you should manage open spaces or landscape spaces. Is that an opportunity for us possibly to host a training session, or I don't know?
That's not something that Tom does, right?
Some of
That would
the,
be
um,
DPW, I think.
Some of the properties are managed by DPW, some of them are managed by independent contractors.
Right,
And I think, there's not a lot of consistency.
right. I think we should have some consistency.
Well, that was, one of the things I wanted to do, like, in looking forward, is, if the town collects leaves, they shouldn't collect them, they should mulch them on,
Right,
if they
right.
can.
Yeah.
And that's, it's an easy thing, but it requires a different mindset, but,
Well, I think there's conventional wisdom and everyone's just operating. using conventional
exactly, it's,
wisdom.
yeah.
And it's an opportunity to provide education if, if we can create consistency in how we manage the property, the town property.
Yeah, and I
Should
think that
conservation take a lead on that or just, I
it has
don't
to be
know.
like an ad hoc
It's a
committee,
rhetorical-
all those different age, because the DPW, I'm sure, does it. I've always done it that way, and change is very
I
slow.
know, no, I fully
So
understand
you
that.
have to probably like get,
It's gotta be very,
yeah, you gotta.
collaborative
Yeah,
in
right,
approach and-
exactly.
by the way, you don't need to mulch the tree like this because it's better for the tree trunk and, the bugs don't go
I'm
after
sure
it.
they have standards for everything, that's DPW's big on.
Tom,
standards.
what do you think?
Standards we go by is the 3 roll, 3 inches away from the stump, 3 inches high, 3 feet around, 3 by 3 by 3. The problem with DPW is they're hiring a lot of new people. If they don't know what to do with them, they stick them out on a job like that. There's no real supervision.
Okay,
So, I mean, I'll keep an eye out and I'll stop and I'll be more than happy to
yeah, it's not a criticism. I'm just trying to see,
go
is
up
there
to
an
them and say,
opportunity?
hey, listen, that's not how you do it.
I think what Tom might be saying is they might already know what they need to do,
Yeah.
just simply that
It hasn't been,
folks.
hasn't been communicated.
Yeah.
Plus, they're gonna mulch the same tree every year until it gets, 40 feet high.
Right, when you're being paid, you want to show.
Like,
and
you
that's-
you do, you go out.
Pretty
go
common
mulch the
problem.
trees.
I know, I just ran into it because I'm sending people to, native plants and then they see.
But again,
Well,
like
we didn't name
that
them.
area
Now I know.
maintained by Parks Department. I'm not gonna go over there and step on.
Yeah, no, we don't want you to do it. I think it's probably a long, bigger discussion in terms of.
And it might be sensitive between different departments.
I fully
I think we all
understand that.
appreciate what you're.
Look, we don't even get along here.
I know.
Seriously.
Which is why I presented it as a rhetorical,
Yeah.
this was a rhetorical question based on my experience and if there's something that we could,
Yeah, and even, it needs to be soft pedaled.
yeah.
As best it can.
Like Tom said, he would be happy to, if he sees something, talk to somebody at DPW in an informal way.
Right.
I'm not sure
Okay.
if we should do anything formal.
And I also know Jim Ryan pretty well, who,
Sure.
Start there.
yeah, Jim's working with me on the rat thing, the rodent pilot, so. And Tom, I could go over the sustainable landscaping for dummies, which is what I use.
Is it really a book?
Yeah, there's a book.
Well, that-
Yeah, sustainable landscaping for dummies.
Okay.
That's the only way I could approach it. I had to
I don't
start
know
from
if
there.
that's gonna go over too good with Jeff Mender and Victor.
I agree with you.
Dummy, you think?
Mulching, not collecting.
Yeah, no, it would make sense, right? It's like, it's,
Leave the leaves and there's.
I do it in my yard. I-
Beautiful dirt in
I
a few
haven't
years.
Breaking up, we've set up 25 years. I have like just 25 years of leaves in my garden.
And you've got fireflies, I'm sure, during the summer.
Oh, we have lots of fireflies. We have, right down at the university, University of Wildlife, we have, it's kind of insane. I have ospreys flying over my house now,
Amazing. Where do you live?
right on the corner of
Over
Benson
here.
and Elm. across from the
Oh,
church.
yeah.
It's like
So you're
highly,
saying
yeah, and it's,
It's been good migration so far. I've gotten an Oriole, red-winged.
Seen some
blackbird.
Orioles.
I saw Baltimore the other day.
black and white
Campers.
warblers.
Tonight.
Did you?
Yeah,
So
and
beautiful.
then I had a grosbeak.
Oh, wow.
Which was cool. Yeah, the grosbeak
And the tree behind my house.
and the red-winged blackbird. On the
Amazing.
No.
And
All right, so
crows and the bigger birds are trying to knock them off.
No, you didn't have
I had a lot of those.
we're gonna do one last thing that Tim just told me. So new council. Well, let me strike that. Let me back up. In the past, when somebody wanted to donate something, a parcel, it would simply work through the office and the town attorney's office. They donated it. I don't think we ever say no to donated land. Now, new town council is recommending we take a vote on accepting the donated land. I don't want to do that. So I'm gonna put that on the record and say, I don't think we need to do that. If somebody's willing to donate the land, we have totally competent people in the office with Tim and Sarah and whoever, and they, you know, they tell us about it and go at it. We want this land.
What would be the reasoning?
Yeah,
The
well,
loss of tax revenue?
Just,
Without due
I'm not-
process or
I'm
something?
not gonna, I don't know what the reasoning is. It's just that it's a recommendation.
What idea I could have.
So I think I'm just as chair, I'm gonna say that I'm not gonna follow that
I assume
recommendation.
everybody does all the due diligence that has to be in there. No, we're not gonna accept any tax waste dumps. or anything like
Excess.
that.
I'm of the opinion if it ain't broke, fix it,
Right.
Yeah.
I,
you know,
so
so.
I think then that'll just be, leave it on my shoulders. I don't wanna make it a vote. I don't want anything. If there's any blowback, let it come on me. But, it'll simply be, I think it, like you said, Commissioner, I think that's nice. It's not broken. You're not gonna fix it. And it should stay the way it's
Sure.
been going. Okay?
Sure,
Yeah.
for me, thank you.
Yeah, it's working well, so.
Good.
why not? Anything else, commissioners? Sure? All right.